Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Windblown Las Vegas, Nevada. This show is being brought to you by TotoWare, the Wizard of Oz in Kansas. My goodness. Welcome to our show today. That's Matt. I'm Aaron. Of course, unfortunately, we're missing the Chief. He is a little under the weather or got blown away by the wind. I'm not sure.
He got blown away or he fell asleep watching a Bruno Sammartino match.
That's got to be a record. 10 seconds and we got one in already. Thank you for watching us, whether you're watching us on the Facebook channels, YouTube channels, we appreciate it. And of course, in about 5 days or so, you can catch us on Roku under the WWDBTV channel on Roku. And of course, you'll watch all of these shows, the plethora of shows we have available, and of course, the plethora of shows available on the network as a whole. I have to give a disclaimer, though, Matt, just to be on the safe side. Those of you watching the news and weather around town, we're having some pretty nasty winds. Started late yesterday, I think, if I'm not mistaken. They may go through till tomorrow. But this is how serious it got. Nevada Power sent out a communication to all of their customers, commercial and residential, to be prepared for possible power outages. Now, I'm not trying to jinx it. We got away yesterday, lucky with a couple of shows here. But if we freeze on your end, if you see Matt and I just kind of stuck in a position and you wonder what's going on, or goes totally blank, well, that means we've lost power. And we'll just see you next week. Right, because if power goes out, I thought about this yesterday. I thought if it goes out, we could just keep recording.
Yeah.
Not if you don't have power. That's what he said. You're an idiot. That's John reminding me. No power, no recording. So let's hope. Yeah.
We can talk to ourselves all we want.
Could, exactly. Well, maybe we pop up Facebook on one of our phones and stream that. But anyway, so let's hope Mother Nature's good to us throughout today, not only here on Thoughts Count Anywhere. I've got Aaron's Hour at 12 o'clock. That's a great show coming up, and I'll share that at the end of the show. Mr. John, how are you, by the way?
I'm good. Hey,
can we make him the Chief?
I hope
Chief 2.0 so we can dog on him today?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hope Chief is feeling better.
Absolutely.
Or he just didn't want to put up with your shit this week.
That would surprise me either. He's had enough.
No. But when I got the notice from Nevada Power,
yes,
and after I read the notice, and I'm thinking, you know what that really said? Dude, if the power goes out, it ain't our fault. So don't be calling our office. Yes. We're going to be working to get it fixed anyway.
Exactly.
So just leave it the fuck alone and go about your business. Your food will stay good for 2 days as long as you don't open the fridge. Anyway.
They're just covering their ass. That's all that they're really doing.
And people will still call off the hook.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what.
That's very true. That's very true. All right. Hey, we got a lot going on. We got rumors, of course, to talk about. But we're also going to talk about something that we've all been talking about weeks now, is the turn of Dakota Kai really setting up Bailey.
Oh, everybody saw that coming.
Stevie Wonder even saw that one coming. So we'll get into that in a little bit. That's part of last night's SmackDown. So let's get into some rumors, shall we?
Yeah.
Rumors, TNA is considering a shift to do live weekly shows at Full Sail University, which we saw their time here, which, if I'm not mistaken, is where WWE did their pandemic stuff, right?
Yeah, they did NXT stuff there for a while.
Good move for them, you think?
I think live TV is definitely a good move.
John, I'm sorry, but I'm checking on the Thoughts Count Anywhere Facebook page. I do not see the feed on here. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
Okay, I got it here and I got it there.
Okay.
I have it here.
Facebook page? Yeah, right there and right there.
Okay, I don't know why it's not coming up on my feed, but that's okay.
I have it on mine too, right here.
Okay.
Wait,
oh, you know why I'm in the group? That's why.
It would be very easy to change our logo from WWDBTV to WWEBTV.
Anyway, you were saying, Matt, save me, please.
I think it would definitely be a good move for them to move to live television, because I think them recording shows kind of hurts their ratings, because all these wrestling fans are always looking at the dirt sheet, so they already know what happens the next couple weeks.
Right.
But if you don't know what's going to happen, everyone's going to tune in.
Mm-hmm.
They still need a better TV deal, because not that many people have access TV, even though a lot of people are starting to download their app.
Right. Right.
Would you pay the $220 for their year app where you get like all the pay-per-views and stuff?
Not when I can pay $9.99 or whatever it is through Peacock and get WWE.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay $200 a year. If I did, my wife would skin me. No, but to me, look, $10 a month. I think that's what it still is for Peacock, right? To be a subscriber. To me, that's $90 for all their shows, wrestle and everything and all the content. And is it really worth content for $200 a year for TNA to put up?
Maybe that's only the one with their pay-per-view. Like the whole library is on there. But if you want the regular one, it's like $9.99.
Oh, I see. I got you. Well,
but if you want like their 4 major pay-per-views included in it, it's like $220.
Huh?
You're on.
I'm on. Okay, no, I got it. I was on the wrong page. I had the Thoughts Count Anywhere group. That's why. You know me. I panicked first. I don't know. It'll be.
You can't record a show with no electricity.
Thank you, Doc Brown. I agree. I think for me to have a better TV deal and see a higher quality production stuff, then maybe I would consider spending that kind of money for TNA as well.
Yeah.
But right now, and like you said, I mean, the filming and I mean, Naomi finished up and appeared on WWE almost about the same time her last match aired on TNA television, right? So that has to hurt the product. But I do agree it does need to have a much better TV product. And if it means moving to Full Sail, where WWE already used that technology to, at the very least, give them a better visual product and make it live, I'm all for that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Me too.
It's going to make it better, right?
Definitely.
So I don't see a problem with that as well. 702-992-3207. 702-992-3207. Give us a call with your thoughts. Keep dropping them in the chat room, whether on Facebook or on YouTube, and we'll snag them and we'll respond to them. Babcock says $9.99. You also get all the Peacock stuff too. Oh, that's if you. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right.
WrestleMania and The Office. It's worth every penny.
They should have a WrestleMania version of The Office. Get all those
cool.
characters, wouldn't it? That'd be pretty fun. Steve Carell.
Office version of WrestleMania.
Oh, well, see, doesn't it's true. Steve Carell could play Vincent Kennedy McMahon in that version. Rumor is if Cena appears at WrestleMania, it will be something short and memorable. What could that be? I mean,
he'll flash the crowd.
Yeah, that'll be memorable.
Oh, he does have an OnlyFans now, so.
Does he really? Oh, well. Okay. So
I don't know what's actually on there. I'm pretty sure it's like a spoof thing, but
I hope
he actually got, I know it's down there somewhere, but he actually got like paused on his Twitter because he was advertising his OnlyFans.
God.
Or he got locked out of his Twitter because he was promoting his OnlyFans.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
This was hilarious.
Well, that tells me if he's doing that, Peacemaker may not be doing so good.
I guess like they're gonna do something short and memorable for Cena because like Peacemaker season 2 is gonna be filmed like imminently.
So they want to have the
so
crossover.
it's like right there with like the WrestleMania schedule.
What if he comes out as Peacemaker?
I would love that.
Wouldn't that be great?
Much.
In Philadelphia, come out as Peacemaker between. What if he? All right. So WrestleMania, and we heard last night about the tag team challenge, right? And we'll get into that in a little bit. What if he came out dressed as Peacemaker to be the referee? I think that'll be funny as all get out. But hopefully they'll do it. And then I read somewhere too that someone was unhappy about Sylvester Stallone possibly being involved. Oh, I know it was. Vince Russo posted that if Stallone comes out in any way, shape, or form, he will, you ready for this? Denounce WrestleMania 40. What does that mean?
He's going to be mad, bro? You don't like Steven Stallone, bro?
Oh, I don't get it. Good morning, Brandy. Good morning, everybody. Brandy says maybe Cena's OnlyFans page is he's modeling hefty garbage bags while lifting a Toyota and eating pistachio nuts, right?
Without his hands, too.
Exactly. You can't see me. Okay. Thank you, Brandy. Good to see everybody out there. 702-992-3207. All right. Rumors Okada could debut for AEW as soon as the March 6th episode of Dynamite, and that's this week.
That's this week, yeah.
Do you think they need it? So let me ask you this. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow night with Sting's match.
No.
Or is it tonight? No, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So, and I'm listening to the prognosticators out there, and nobody really knows which way that match is going to go. Does he win? Does he lose? Does he do the deed and lose like most guys do on the way out to pass the torch and all of that. But regardless of what happens, with him essentially that being his last show, never say never, do they need the power of Okada to debut on that Wednesday after Sting's quote unquote final match, regardless of what the result is? Just from a almost like a replacement kind of thing.
He's definitely not going to replace Sting, but he's definitely a big name. And I thought he was definitely going to debut on like a pay-per-view. I thought they were going to save that for like something big.
Right.
But I wonder like how he's going to probably go against like if I had to guess, I'm going to assume he's going to end up like immediately feuding with Ospreay and the Don Callis family.
Okay. Something I read, speaking of Will Ospreay, is many people believe within the industry that he will not be a heel for long.
No. He's too popular already.
Exactly. So maybe if Okada does appear on Wednesday, maybe that's an opportunity for Ospreay then to maybe start a turn, and maybe he joins Okada to go against the family.
Could be.
Who knows? That's why we just sit and watch and see what happens. A last rumor is Gunther might be in a multi-man match at WrestleMania. Are we thinking like a fatal four-way for the title? We're talking about for the title in some form, right? Triple threat, fatal four-way. Who would be the opponents? There's a couple names that I know that are out there. We have Chad Gable's name has been coming up, right?
Chad Gable, now Sami Zayn,
right.
After what happened on Raw.
Right, okay.
Ricochet, Ivar.
I also saw Braun Strowman may be returning very, very soon as well. They're trying to figure out, he may not come back as a face. He may come back as a heel. I don't know how they'll do that. And of course, Sheamus is still lingering out there in the parts unknown world of pro wrestling. So I personally would like to see Gable go one-on-one with him.
Yeah,
because that story never finished, so to speak. I hate to say finish the story, but when he faced him face to face and he did that in promo in the ring about making my daughter cry and everything else, and then they just stopped it. That's why I'd like to see Gable at least get one more sincere chance at the belt and maybe win it so that Gunther can then move up into the main picture.
They've used the words like finish the story so much during WrestleMania that WrestleMania should actually be sponsored by the Philadelphia Public Library.
That's where Stallone can come in right there. I like that idea. Who would you want to see go if it is a multi-man match? Who would you like to see him go against? Let's say it's a fatal four-way. Gable, yes.
Gable for sure.
Okay.
I still want to see Ricochet and Sami Zayn.
That's not bad. Here's the thing with Ricochet, though. He has not really been on TV prominently as of late from what I've seen.
Not really. No.
So how do you bring him back in the next? Well, you can. I mean, you have a month essentially to develop him getting into that storyline with the Intercontinental Belt. I think that would be a bang of a match when you consider you have Gable and Ricochet, smaller guys who can fly around the ring, especially Ricochet. We know what he can do. You have Gable who can go strength or some of the flying, the high fly stuff. Maybe not full high, but some high risk moves. We know where we get in Sami Zayn, and that's everything, no matter what he chooses to do.
Yeah.
Against the powerhouse, the rugged man who has held the belt for record time now, who can chop down a cherry tree with his hands. So you have such a great mix of potential talent in that match. I think it'll be a great fatal four-way. I would have no problem seeing that. But I think at WrestleMania, regardless of what he may be in, does he lose the belt at WrestleMania so he can finally step up into a main event picture at this point?
I think so, but a lot of people are saying he's going to hold on to the belt until like the Battle of Berlin, but I'm hoping that's when he gets like a world heavyweight title shot.
When is that? What is that on the schedule for? August? Like that's right around SummerSlam usually, isn't it?
It's after SummerSlam, I think. They're trying to lock down the SummerSlam date and venue. Supposedly it's going to be like August 2nd in Cleveland, and I think the Battle in Berlin is like the end of the month.
Ronald Young says Jey Uso versus Gunther would be better for WrestleMania. My only thing with that is that I think everybody's predicting that it'll be Jey and
It's
Jimmy.
going to be Jimmy and Jey at WrestleMania, for sure.
No, that's not to say that he can't pull double duty like we're potentially going to see with Roman and Cody on night 1, night 2, if that tag challenge was accepted.
There's no way that's not
right. Exactly. I don't know. Jay was just on against Gunther on Raw, which doesn't mean a whole lot. I mean, he lost there. I'd be okay if Jay does it and gets a singles title. I'd be okay with that. But I really would like to see Gable get that shot.
I want to see Gable become Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
He's been compared to Kurt Angle so much that it's like hard to unsee.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you heard it here first. We'd like to see Chad Gable become the IC belt at WrestleMania if that's where they're going to include him, which would be a great stage for him to do that. That's for darn sure. Yeah. Especially in Philadelphia, where we know the underdogs always win, right? Right, Rocky? You Adrian. All right, before we go to break, we want to send out a couple of thoughts and prayers. I mean, things happen in threes usually. And unfortunately, the wrestling world experienced that this week.
In like 72 hours.
Crazy. Ole Anderson passed away. Virgil also passed away. And Paul the Butcher Vachon also passed away. So that's a trio from I don't know what you want to compare it to, but that's a very interesting trio that the wrestling world lost, especially Ole with the formation of the Four Horsemen and his roots into pro wrestling. Yeah. Same thing with Vachon and Virgil. We know his story with Ted DiBiase, and it's unfortunate he passed because I had read about a week to 10 days ago, a wrestler who is a friend of his, whose name escapes me right now, reported that Virgil had been suffering from strokes.
Yeah.
So something was going on. So all of our thoughts and prayers from all of us here at Thoughts Count Anywhere. On that note, we're going to step aside for our first break. Come back. We got a ton to talk about. We'll be right back.
What do we get to talk about?
Whatever we want.
Stuff.
Anything?
Stuff.
Okay.
Great.
Well, hello, good people of planet Earth. Is this thing on? Hello. I can't see you out there in TV land, so I'm going to rely upon the honesty of the internet that I know you're on the other side of this mirror. And me, your warlord of weird Sinbodi, is hoping that if you want to stumble upon the greatest form of internet entertainment of all time, even though the internet's only been around for about 23 minutes, I would like you to watch WWDBTV.com. It is amazing. It is awesome. They'll teach you the meaning of life. They'll teach you all sorts of cool stuff, how to turn peanut butter into jelly, and so many other things. And if you're going to watch, do it with styles. Do I look like I'm clowning around? Is this thing on?
This is John Cena. I just wanted to send you a congratulations on your podcast. Thoughts count anywhere. Because indeed they do. Thoughts are important. I mean, what would we do without them? And how can they not count anywhere? Is there a place that thoughts don't count? I can't think of one. Well, I just wanted to say thank you very much, congratulations, and good luck on the podcast. Thoughts count anywhere, because they do.
Hey there. Welcome back to Thoughts Count Anywhere.
Up?
That's Matt. I'm Aaron. Unfortunately, Chief is under the weather today. He's taking care of himself. We need him for the run to WrestleMania, the road to our own WrestleMania weekend. So we want to make sure Chief is healthy as we continue to talk about that. All right.
Gotta get him away from that stick.
Oh.
I know. Speaking of sticks, we know that Chief's toy is a favorite toy, but rumor has it, I found evidence that the popularity of his toy is growing. And so here's the proof, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, wow. I'm glad you said that because I was going to play.
Uh-oh. John is cracking himself up. That's never a good sign, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Never mind.
Put the picture up at least, and then you can gather your thoughts and tell us.
Play their album.
Who? Sticks? Cease. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Doggy Stick Library. Apparently, Chief started putting together all of his different toys and sticks over the years. And look at this. We have his first potential member of the Doggy Stick Library. So congratulations. That's pretty cool. So, okay. That's a far-reaching attempt at a really bad joke. Okay. Although I like the sticks idea. That would have been funny.
Even classified as a dad joke.
No, that would just be a piece of shit joke.
It's a Chief joke, so it's a great grandpa joke.
Oh, and I hope Chief is watching because he's one of the few people that will get this. He is not under the weather. He's on a med cruise.
Okay, obviously that's something military.
It's that's what the Navy did. They went on a Mediterranean cruise.
Okay,
but because Chief is older, he's on a medication cruise.
Oh, Medicare cruise?
Medication.
No, I know Medicare.
Yes, Medicare.
Medicaid.
Sponsored by AARP.
Yeah.
The USS AARP boat now setting sail.
We love you, bro.
Absolutely, Chief. Sammy went from main event mania to John Cena. Can't see me, so sad. He was so over like LA Knight, and he is an LA Knight. Oh, and he is buried too. So, where is the museum for cheap toys in the sticks of Pahrump? Oh my God. Hey, debuts on NXT this week.
10.
Sean Spears made his debut, a return really to WWE programming via NXT. I thought it was a solid return.
Yeah, that was cool. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No.
I didn't see one word of Sean Spears in WWE in months.
Absolutely. I think it was good. And that's one of those things that if Chief were here about how much we love surprises, that would certainly fall under the guise of a surprise.
Oh, definitely. I thought the whole like truth thing was gonna be like Bo Dallas. So I got like super excited when
Right.
like the lights went out and it said a truth thing. I was like, is he coming out for real? And then the dude got hit by a chair. I was like, what's going on?
Right.
I was like genuinely like confused and excited.
Well, maybe with the way they presented Spears in the darkness, right? In the dark with the hood and everything else, maybe there will be something with him and Bo Dallas and kind of something, like we've been hearing about potentially. Maybe there will be some connection at some point
It is
coming in
kinda-
under that.
Yeah, definitely. But it is kind of crazy that like the people coming from AEW back to WWE
Mhm.
are all using their AEW gimmicks.
Yeah.
Like Sean Spears was the chairman in AEW, and he came back with the same hoodie he was wearing in AEW.
Mhm.
He didn't come back as Ty Dillinger. He came back as Sean Spears.
Right. Well, you know what? Obviously, there has to be, I would think, I shouldn't say has to be. Could there have been some negotiations going on? Let's say we'll use Spears as an example with Tony Khan to continue using the rights over here.
Yeah.
Or is there something unwritten that we always have, which we kind of been hedging on as to whether maybe there is some backdoor agreement between AEW and WWE, like when Mickie James and Jordan Grace came over for those matches, they came in with their AEW or TNA for Grace in their gimmicks with the belts and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely nuts that they can do that. So there has to be something there, I would think, in my opinion. But I missed the memo when it said what happened. So
I'm hoping that leaves some kind of door open for the Iconics to eventually return.
that's also something that had come up also.
They're still like my favorite women's tag team.
But isn't Sean Spears, whichever one was married to Sean, is it Peyton?
yeah.
I think she's pregnant again. So if there is
I
I think she's pregnant again. So obviously that thought will not be
It's
happening.
gonna be a while.
It'll be a while, exactly. It'll be a while. But AJ Lee's name has now come up, and the reason I bring that up is because of what happened to Bailey last night with Dakota Kai.
She got to have some kind of backup at some point. And then everybody thought like Sasha Banks was gonna return to help
Mhm.
Bailey, but if she's really debuting at the big business AEW event, which I don't know. I think she's better off in WWE.
Time will tell, of course. With all the conversation about the attendance things at AEW shows, and there's some alleged unhappiness with the talent in the back or whatever. I mean, Miro apparently got injured last September. He's supposed to be part of that beef meaty match. And lo and behold, we find out the other day that one of the reasons that match got canceled, Miro apparently got hurt in September, but never said anything. Why? Why would you hold something like that back to now? You hurt a match, you're hurting the company, you're hurting potential opportunities. So I don't know. I hope there's some reason that Sean Spears and these guys returning have been allowed, or they've made some sort of arrangement that they can still use their gimmicks from previous promotions.
That's scary. How irrelevant are you in a company that you can disappear since September and they don't realize until February
Well, he never told
that you're gone?
Well, he never told anybody he was injured. That was part of the thing, is he never came through to tell anybody. Don't know what the extent of the injury is or was. But you're right. I mean, out of sight, out of mind, I guess. So what else I had? So another huge surprise last night was a big return. Rey Mysterio coming back last night.
Yeah.
During the Carlito the Carlito match. I forget which guy he was. Was it Escobar?
Escobar in a street fight.
And then the other guy, Escobar's guys come out, and then Carlito's guys come out. They get in a scrum. All of a sudden, Mysterio's music hits. He comes out on crutches. Oh, nay, nay. The old possum with the crutches routine. And of course, waylaid him out with the crutches and whatnot. So big return from him. Swerve with Dakota, which nobody really didn't think was going to be real. We were just waiting for it to happen. Like Tiff time.
Tiffy time.
So what do you think about Ray coming back? Does he come back now? I mean, you would have him and Carlito with those other guys, LWO still together.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some kind of like multi-man match.
You'd have to think. Where Zelina Vega still in the corner of LWO? She's still part of that. And then you have the three guys, right? It's three guys on Escobar's side. So you got a 4-on-3. So who are they going to bring in? You got to imagine you're going to even the number somehow if you have a 4-on-4 tag match of some sort.
They have that one girl. Was it Electra something? What's her name?
Oh,
that was in NXT.
Okay.
So they could do like the
mixed tag
4-on-4 mixed tag thing.
But then who would they pull out of the men's side? Because they have 4 guys now, don't they? With Mysterio back, it's
Mysterio,
4, right?
Carlito, and then the 2.
Right. Can't think of their names.
Joaquin Wilde, and I can't remember the other guy's name to save my life.
So you got 4 guys, and right now the other side only has 3, right?
Yeah.
So either they have to bring a guy in if they want to make it a 4-on-4 standard match, or if they do want to bring Electra in, which I think would be interesting, see Zelina get in, who are they going to pull out of Carlito's side? Maybe Mysterio doesn't get in the match. Maybe he's like the manager for that match. Maybe he's outside the ring. Who knows? But
they could just have the guys do it, and then the girls are the managers, and they get into it.
A little scrum on the outside.
Eventually, try to interfere.
But Escobar's side, though, still does need one more male.
Yeah.
Maybe with Mysterio back, maybe they recruit Dominic to come in for a special match on that side.
That'd be cool for Mania.
Right? If he's still part of Judgment Day by then. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Only the Shadow knows. At that point, I'm not even sure the Shadow knows. All right. Bayley finally has been added to the WrestleMania poster, which is great since she's going up against the champion.
That woman gets no love whatsoever.
Ronald Young confirms that is Elektra Lopez.
Elektra Lopez, that's her name. I was like Elektra something.
Wasn't that a superhero, Elektra?
Yeah.
Electric line in blue.
Huh? Jennifer Garner played Elektra, didn't she, in the movie?
Yeah.
But it's with a K, not a C, if I'm not mistaken, when she did that. Stupid shit up here. Okay. What else? Dominic Mysterio is getting married in real life very soon. So you think that'll
He's been with the same girl since like high school.
Yeah, but he's still in his early 20s, so isn't he?
Yeah.
So
he's been with her for like 6-7 years.
I was gonna say though, but high school's not too far in his rearview mirror, like it would be for me or you, even.
True.
But good, hopefully good news for him. But it would be interesting to see how they. Well, listen, Ray is with Buddy Murphy, so we know there's real life relationships. But it'd be interesting to see what they do with the dynamic of Dominic and Rhea Ripley moving forward. CM Punk is being advertised for the final Raw before WrestleMania. What could he do on that final Raw ahead of time? Obviously, he's not performing, so we know he's not going to be in the ring per se.
Not performing. I wonder if they're going to have him on like commentary, or if he's going to be like a special referee in some kind of match. Or...
Okay, that's possible. I see him at the worst case scenario being on commentary because he's done that before, of course.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I don't know if that will help or hurt WrestleMania, having Punk that on the Raw before, since he's irrelevant really to WrestleMania this year. But we'll come back to. I want to jump off the rest of this for a moment because I want to talk about. Let's talk about some predictions for Revolution for tomorrow, because there's 9 matches tomorrow. Dakota turning on Bayley sucks. Wish there were more 2 women factions. It would be of great bringing in Sasha or another. Okay. They're doing this thing with Bayley almost as the lone wolf, if I can borrow those 2 words from Corbin. So there has to be some people in the wings for her that's got to come to her aid, either the week before WrestleMania or once the scrum starts. You're going to have to see some people really hustle, get out there to have her back and even it up for a true championship match. But let's talk about Revolution predictions. 9 matches, but really I think the one and only match that I think, and now I'm not talking storyline or anything else of what's going to happen, but of course, this is allegedly the final match for Sting, the legendary Sting.
Yeah.
50-50 at best. People don't have a feel as to whether he's going to go out a winner and keep the belts. If he goes out, or I'm sorry, keep the belts will win them. If he goes out as a champion and wins the belts and he's retiring, don't they then have to redo a whole tag team thing? Or, so
be a tag tournament or something.
Yeah. And poor Darby, he would have earned it back and he's now got to give it up. Or maybe they have a tournament just to see who can team with Darby to replace Sting in the tag champs.
Good.
I mean, other than Piper Niven.
I think he's going to take time off anyway because he's trying he's trying to go climb Mount Everest.
Darby is? Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Okay. Well, that could be if that happens, though, then that would lead, if that's in the back of everybody's mind, that would lead me to think then that they would probably take a pin. We usually see the person going away, retiring or whatever, doing the business and ending up with his face looking up at the lights, taking the pin to pass the baton. But do you do that to Sting?
Sting is old school and probably does want to go out that way, but he's never lost an AEW ever.
Wow. Does Ric Flair play a part in this? Lex Luger,
definitely.
Lex Luger is supposed to be showing up to the match. We know they're rival, although Luger physically obviously can't do a whole lot nowadays.
I thought Luger couldn't show up because of his WWE
that was Nash.
Legends.
That was Kevin Nash, I thought.
He said it on a Busted Open, too.
Oh, I didn't know.
Anybody who has a WWE Legends contract got a memo saying that you cannot appear on camera.
Oh, I did not realize that. I know Nash had.
I was listening to it I was pulling into the party.
See, and I missed that with him because Luger, I think, was on yesterday with the guys, so that might have been a replay of the interview. And I didn't hear that part. I must have gotten to school before they got to that. Well, first of all, I think that's not the right way to go with a guy like Sting. I think if you have people who are his friends, rivalries and all that, let him go. It's fine a match. So you show him in the audience, show him up in a box. You don't put him in the ring. Don't do any of that shenanigans, but show them, hey, they're up in the box paying their respects and tribute to their friend and one of the greatest performers many consider of the current modern era of wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't like that tactic. What are your thoughts on that? Should they go? Should they be allowed to go?
I think they should be able to go, but I don't think AEW should be cheap and put them all on camera. And
well, that would be a cheap hop for them.
If it would, but if you're have a contract with another organization, it'd be kind of cheap to put all these people on your TV too.
Well, I understand that. I understand that. So maybe you do host them and you just kind of keep them in the back in a secured area or something that they can be there, at least watch the match, be there when Sting comes out, goes backstage.
It's even Kevin Nash was Triple H is one of my best friends. And he goes, I can't show up to an AEW event. And it says Kevin Nash is all elite on the bottom of the screen.
Oh, where they would take that. Yeah, boy, I could see that being a problem. All right. So let's start with that one. I mean, what's your prediction? Sting and Darby Allin taking on the Young Bucks.
I don't know. I'm 50-50 too.
Like everybody, right?
I see Sting being old school and taking the pin as his way of thanking the Young Bucks as part of being the EVPs of giving him this way to end his career.
Mm-hmm.
But I also see Tony Khan being a huge mark and not letting Sting lose and doing some kind of nonsense to the tag titles to crown some new champions.
Okay. Well, if the Young Bucks are trying to become more of a heel and get additional heat, as they've been trying to do in this recent return, then they have to beat Sting. Question is, though, will Sting take the pin in the match if they lose? Will it be Darby to take the pin and Sting goes out on a loss, even though he didn't take the pin? Or do you think Sting, if they lose, will actually take the pin?
I think if the Sting's team loses, Sting is taking the pin.
Okay.
And I think if they really want to build the Young Bucks as this big heel team,
right,
they have to beat Sting.
Right.
Because they'll brag about it permanently.
Okay. So your prediction?
My official pick is the Young Bucks pinning Sting.
I'm going to go with you on that as well. Not that we want to see that.
I don't want to see it,
but then maybe Sting does. Maybe if he loses, I think the key thing is after the match, Sting has to take his boots off, put him in the middle of the ring, which is usually the final symbol for a lot of guys. Although, like we say never in the world of pro wrestling, so you really never know. But because of Sting's background and the legacy of wrestling and what he's done, I agree. I think the Young Bucks have to get the win, get the belts, add heat to them moving forward, and doctoring it up from there. All right, FTR versus John Moxley versus Claudio Castagnoli. Oh, and Claudio Cesaro for a tag match. I don't like the idea that there's a second tag match on here for tomorrow. It should just be Sting and Darby and the Young Bucks is the only tag match, in my opinion. But those four guys, FTR versus Moxley and Cesaro. Is there anything but pride in this match at stake? There's nothing really on the line.
Not really.
Okay. So your thoughts?
I have a hard time going against the Blackpool Combat Club, but since the Combat Club got like the upper hand on Dynamite, I'm pretty sure FTR is winning at the pay-per-view.
That always seems to be the trend on all the shows. I agree with that. I think FTR is going to win that match as well. So we got that one there. Will Ospreay taking on Takeshita.
Will Ospreay.
Okay, I agree with that as well.
I think Will Ospreay is a future AEW World Champion.
I would like to see that. All-Star Scramble match. Chris Jericho, Wardlaw, Powerhouse Hobbs, Lance Archer, Hook, Brian Cage versus who's this new group? Two More TB.
Two more to be announced. I couldn't find the other two names.
So our great listeners out there, Ronald and everybody out there, I didn't even see the historian out there. He must be working early today. Who are the other two people in that match that will round out this card? While we wait for that, let's move on. Then we'll come back to that once we get the other two folks in there. TNT Championship, Christian Cage, Daniel Garcia.
I'm going to go with the father of the year, Christian Cage. I don't think he's going to lose it until there's some kind of rematch between him and Copeland.
I agree. Continental Crown Championship, Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston.
You want to know what the stupidest thing in all of wrestling is?
What's that? Only
You
one?
ever watch Eddie Kingston do like his real fast chops where he's like,
Oh,
that is the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen
that's the only
in a
one?
wrestling match. It's so irritating to watch. I'm just like, why are you doing this? Like, I know it's like a Japan thing, but
he's hurting himself more.
Stop.
Isn't he hurting himself more?
I would imagine. And that's another one. I want Daniel Bryanson to win, but since he tapped out Eddie Kingston on Dynamite, I'm pretty sure Eddie Kingston's going to get the win on the pay-per-view.
Ronald says that he believes the two spots remaining will be determined tonight on Collision.
Oh, okay.
All right. So is there anybody, let's go back to that. So you're saying, I'm sorry, let's go back to this. So you're thinking Kingston's going to win?
Unfortunately.
Okay. Just because we pretty much agreed on everything else, I'll take Danielson on the other side just to give us something different to talk about there. So let's go back to the All-Star Scramble. For the moment, let's put the two unknowns aside right now. Is there anybody in this list who you think's going to win, regardless of who those last two people
Chris Jericho.
I saw in an article that he's kind of going back to the Lionheart, this WCW kind of gimmick.
He did for the match with Atlantis, just because it was like he was the Lionheart when he like wrestled in CMLL.
Okay.
I think that was just like a one-time thing for that.
Okay. So you think Jericho's going to win regardless?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even care who the other two are.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So if the winner you think, regardless of who the TBAs are, then it doesn't matter who they are.
Sure.
For me, I like all the names. I kind of see Jericho as well as a potential winner, but I'm going to go with Wardlaw in this match. I'm going to take Mr. Wardlow. You know, they've been, you know, he was away for a while. They brought him back. He's a big dude. I just have a feeling for him to come out on top, regardless who the other guys are as well. Women's World Championship: Toni Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo.
I don't know. I love timeless Toni Storm. She's like one of the best characters in like AEW right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I see her retaining, but it's going to be a really good match.
Okay. Before you gave your answer, I put my name next to Deonna Purrazzo.
It was kind of cool, like during Dynamite when they were like on each side of the ramp,
right?
And like her half was black and white, and Deonna Purrazzo was in like color.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a really cool visual.
They're setting some things up very nicely. Visual. I think things are can trend in the right way and how they're doing things from a production side. But I think there's still a long way to go for them production-wise to present. And you would think with all the minds that they have in AEW that their 2 cents, their experience and everything to be put into production, I think is a mismark if they're not listening to some ideas. And I'm not saying that I know they are or not, but because there's times where you kind of raise your eyebrow and kind of go, what the hell is that all about? Kind of makes me think, and we know Tony Khan will do whatever he wants. He's a mark for the whole thing. But I did
no matter who wins this match.
Yeah.
The way they're setting up Mercedes Moné's debut is like this whole show and in Boston, everything like that. Over under 2 months, she's AEW Women's Champion.
You mean she's going to pull a Charlotte Flair?
Oh, for sure. There's no way within 2 months she's not the champion.
I agree. You know, you're having such a build for that. Like you said, they're building the show right pretty much around her, regardless of who's going to win between Storm and Perazzo. Yeah, I agree with you. They're not going to spend all of that time pushing her and then just have her climb the ladder. So we'll call that the Chiefs rule. You know, you got to be on TV for it. No, you can come right back in and run for a title.
I hope with like Mercedes coming back,
Love you,
that means
Chief.
Britt Baker comes back because I want to see that match.
Yeah, she's been out for a while, right?
Yeah, she said like she's been injured and she
Right.
said people didn't want to see her on TV, so she left.
Took the time off. All right, well, there you have it. Any update on Adam Cole returning from his injuries?
He's still healing.
So
So it's going to be like months.
Yeah, he's out for a while with that ankle. All right, International Championship, Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong. I almost said Intercontinental. Almost.
I think that was AEW's goal with that whole title.
What do you think? Cassidy, Roderick Strong?
I think Orange Cassidy is going to end up retaining, even though he's like been favoring his back, and Roderick Strong is like the king of the backbreakers.
Okay.
I'd like to see Roderick Strong win and get that push finally, but I think Orange Cassidy is going to win.
Okay. Again, I agree with you. I think Cassidy will retain in my heart, but in my head, for the shits and giggles, I'll go the other way and take Strong as a possible dark horse. Babcock adds the fact that Dante Martin is one of those to be determined already, and then they're plugging in the last person tonight, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Does it change your answer?
Jericho.
World Championship, Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, and Hangman Page.
That swerve on Wednesday got me too. I thought he was like really injured and came out with the crutches, and all of a sudden he hit Swerve. I was like, Swerve got swerved.
That's right. Yet again, another use of the crutches as a possum, right?
Yeah.
Samoa Joe retains. He's only had the belt for a handful of months, right?
Yeah, he's only had it for like 2-3 months. I don't see him losing it immediately.
I don't either. I think right now they need that, because I would think if MJF were to come back soon, he's got to beef with Samoa Joe, right? After the way he lost the belt, Adam Cole, all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And those tournaments and all that went on. So I think Samoa Joe's going to retain as well. So
I really want Swerve to win the title, but I don't think he's going to do it yet.
all right, not yet. All right, let us step aside for a quickie break. When we come back, we really do have a ton more to talk about. Hopefully we can get most of it in before we say goodbye for another week. Thoughts Count Anywhere? That's Matt. I'm Aaron. We'll be right back.
Hey, Thoughts Count Anywhere. Y'all watching it. This is my new tag team partner, Steve-O, a.k.a. Zeus, from the hit movie Friday and from No Holds Barred.
Hello, this is Martin Casals, a.k.a. Marty the Mob, and you're watching the Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast. Enjoy.
What's up, man? It's your boy, Simple Foxy. I'm here with my man, Big Chief. I need you to check out the podcast, Thoughts Count Anywhere.
This is Impact Wrestling's Dash and Chris Bay, the ultimate finesser, former Finesse Division champion, and you're listening to Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast.
Hi, I'm Sean Zavari. Listen to Thoughts Count Anywhere for all your wrestling news.
It's not the worst podcast ever, is it? It's the best podcast. Thoughts Count Anywhere. All your wrestling news, all your hobbit hey, all your gimmickry. Go on over, listen wherever your podcasts are downloaded. The Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast. I'm the big LG Doc Ellis. That's my endorsement. Booyah!
This is the Essential Character EC3 on behalf of my dear friends at Thoughts Count Anywhere, the podcast for your mind when you keep thinking about all things sports and entertainment.
Hey, what's going on? This is Axe, and I'm smashing the demolition.
Hey, we want to invite you to watch every Saturday morning. Thoughts Count Anywhere.
Hey guys, it's Tessa Blanchard and Ozzy, and you're watching Thoughts Count Anywhere.
Welcome back. I just don't, why were we still in the background of you showing the commercials? You usually
Somebody filmed it on their fucking.
no,
flip
that's
phone.
that's never been a problem before.
Yeah, you just haven't been paying attention.
No, you brought them up on the screen by themselves, or you blacked us out.
I understand.
Oh man, welcome back.
What's up with that?
What's up with that? All right,
Bitch.
I know. All right, you know what? We're gonna let's.
Bitch if you were hung with a new rope.
That's pretty sick, man. Yeah. See, even Babcock put a comment on there. He goes, "Good thing you're not doing something bad, as you're not off camera during the commercials."
That's why I left it there.
Good thing I didn't pick my house or something. All right. Let's talk about the big announcement last night on SmackDown, the challenge, the counter challenge, the counter punch, whatever you want to call it. It was reported last week that, Cody Rhodes, I challenge you anywhere, anytime, any place, yada, 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 conversation of a tag match. So here's where we're at. The counter challenge. The acceptance by The Rock, on behalf of Roman, by the way, was that we'll take it, but there's a condition. If we beat your ass, Bloodline is all over the place in that match. If, however, Cody and Seth win, then the Bloodline will not be allowed in any way, shape, or form. Nobody associated with the Bloodline will come down to the ring to interfere in the match for Cody. We all know it's going to be it's going to be accepted. You're not putting that out there, and then Cody and Seth go, nah,
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll just go for it on this night too. So huge ramifications with this. Where do you see the tag match swerving around? I didn't want to say ending because there's way too many variables in this called the rest of the Bloodline members and the possibility of maybe new Bloodline members getting involved at WrestleMania. Tamatanga?
That's what I was going to say. Right. I was like, well, if like Cody and Seth win and there's no Bloodline interference
officially,
and
right?
Tamatanga interferes.
Sure.
And like makes his debut. He's not necessarily a member of the Bloodline yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I also see like Rock and Roman winning that tag match and a bunch of people coming to help Cody and a bunch of people coming to help Roman, and Cody ends up winning it anyway.
Like a mini scrum.
Yeah.
But in theory, if all that happens, again, in theory, and we know rules go out the window very easily, if all that happens, the match should be thrown out, right?
Well, they said if the Rock said if him and Roman
rules.
win, it's Bloodline rules.
That's right. I forgot
which
about
is
that.
anything goes.
Yep. So this is Babcock's thought. Rock and Roman wins, and Rock turns on Roman, or on Rock the second night, and Cody wins, but it would water down his win for his story. I agree with that. I think Cody, to get the full value of finish the story, he needs to kind of beat Roman clean.
Yeah, he's got to beat him in the middle of the ring.
Got to beat him in the middle of the ring. He's got to put his finishing move on him, I would think, to really, like you said, solidify win. No gray area, none of that stuff, in my opinion. So I agree with Babcock's
with all this stuff going on, do you think The Rock eventually just turns on Roman?
I'm going to say yes. And a couple of things. Really, something was pointed out a couple of weeks. First of all, let's think about last night. Right? They came face to face. Roman told The Rock, "You need to acknowledge me as your tribal chief." Who ever thought anybody would ever talk to The Rock and demand anything from the guy?
True.
So I can't imagine that would sit well in his mind. Number two, something very slight. When he came back to SmackDown a couple of weeks ago, and at the end of the show, they all held up the number one. Somebody pointed out, though, Rock held up his number one like this.
He did it last night, too.
Did he? He did that also? So, as we know, is that last night?
You can see it last night. Even, like, Heyman's, like, looking at him like, what are you doing?
Okay, gotcha. So, as we know, the L, kind of pointed back at Roman. So, very slight as it is, but I'm not buying that. After all, The Rock's got the USFL or whatever his new UFL Lee coming out. You don't want him to be a heel with that kicking off in the springtime. I don't know. I think WrestleMania is going to come to a head because WrestleMania, he can't continue on after WrestleMania with the football, with everything else going on. I can't see his story in any way, shape, or form continuing. So I think he's going to turn no later than WrestleMania. In my opinion.
It continues, and I think we eventually get Rock and Roman at WrestleMania 41.
Wow.
Which I think is going to be in Vegas, I hope.
I agree. It would definitely be a WrestleMania match. But at what point do you kind of look at two combatants and say, not that they're past their prime, but The Rock's been out of the ring. You know, that would be a gimmick match for all the reasons that we know would be good, obviously. Shouldn't that match be happening sooner than later?
It should, but that match is so big that you want to see it just to see it. It's kind of like Sting and Undertaker. You're like, they're past their primes, but I still want to see this. At least every year, you're like, is it going to happen this year? I was like, they're way past their prime, but this year,
right?
They can barely go, but this year,
they'll both need an hour to get down to the ring, especially the Undertaker with his entrance. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see it, but look, they carried out the storyline with The Rock and Cena for a full year before that WrestleMania, and I get it. But again, Rock was still active. He can walk into a dark room and still be prominent. With nobody around. And I get all of that. I'm not saying it's not what's best for business. Will there be enough? How much, I guess in general, my question is how much longer can the overall bloodline story continue? Because this bloodline story has been going on 4 years now.
Yeah.
And that's including the Sami Zayn in and out and Jimmy and Jay and all that stuff. But the bloodline as a faction like this has been going on for quite some time. And can the bloodline story as a whole, can Solo still stand behind Roman for another year before he breaks away or turns? You know what I'm saying? There's just so much there. How much more within the bloodline story is there where that WrestleMania match really is all about Rock and Roman, not including the rest of them?
True.
Maybe that match happens. The others say, you know what? We don't want any part of Rock. We're out of here. Roman, you're on your own. And maybe that's where we see the bloodline dissolve. I don't know.
So we're saying people in the back are considering like this whole storyline with Cody and the bloodline, like the Avengers Endgame.
That it ends, but it doesn't end?
Like, it's like Cody's trying to take down Thanos.
Right.
But there's so many like side stories and characters in it that.
Well, and that's what's great about the bloodline story all these years is that there's so many angles and ways that the story can go, even with side issues like Jimmy and Jay and, Solo they really haven't done anything specific. Yeah, he was in a feud. He beat Cena. Okay, we get that. But then he went on a losing streak. He was losing matches, even though some of them were on the road, the house shows and stuff, but they were still being documented that he's been losing, right? We really haven't seen Jimmy in any match.
No.
In quite some time, right? And then that leaves the variable of whether it's a Tama Tonga. And look, they're still going to look. Naomi also, right? Female getting involved. That she's been brought up for almost a year now to be part of the bloodline. She has no story. She lost last night to Tiff, but there's really nothing for her going into WrestleMania.
No.
Jimmy's part of the bloodline. Maybe come WrestleMania, maybe we see, or she's the one like we were just talking about. She's not an official member of the bloodline, but maybe she gets caught up in the scrum if that if the tag match is won by Rock and Roman on the first night.
If they get it like somehow where like Brandy's involved, I can see her like taking out Brandy just to piss off Cody a little more.
Yeah, but Brandy, how would they do that though? Because Brandy's not on television. She's not doing anything per se other than being a mom, which is a full-time job.
She could just be like ringside to like
for that match to be there.
No, like just like a Raw or something. She's like ringside with the daughter or something, like cheering on Cody, and Naomi's just like, yeet.
I got you. Babcock, I agree with you. Rock can be like Stone Cold. He gets a huge pop, but has only had one match in 10 years. But when that glass breaks, crowds go nuts for Stone Cold. I agree.
Rock's the Rock.
Exactly. And Stone Cold, though, he's right. Stone Cold, as soon as you hear the glass break and you're not expecting it, the place goes bananas. And the same thing happens when you hear the Rock's, entrance start.
Oh, yeah.
And there are people who can generate that kind of excitement without doing anything. The three of us have been talking about for years. How can Roman get involved, or not Roman, Rock at all these major events? Well, all Rock really, in theory, would ever have to do is just walk out at the top of the ramp, like we've talked about, say or do nothing, raise the eyebrow looking down at the ring, turn around and walk out. He'd never have to say a word, although The Rock saying nothing in the promo would not be right. You know, everybody loves it. I love his
I'd be
promos.
like, what the hell?
Yeah, but he so I agree with that, but in the sake of long term, they don't need a belt on Roman if they go at it at 41, because we know what would be at stake.
Yeah.
Right? The tribal chief seat, right? That's the belt. That's, I think, what we all thought was going to happen for this year when The Rock came back. Okay. I think it could go a year, but I think an undertone of all of this is, where are the parts of the bloodline going to fall into play if things progress? I mean, Solo, we know him more personally because he wrestled here in town, and one of the commercials, that the montage of wrestlers, he's in that commercial for us, but he could be a force all by himself.
Oh yeah.
You know, and be a wrecking. Could he ever turn face? Could he be the one to turn on Roman at some point, which had been rumored for a while also?
I can see that for sure.
Would he be a face?
I can see it.
Would he have a good run as a face?
Yeah, I can see that.
Do you see him as a heavyweight champ at some time?
In the future, definitely.
Okay. So you're gauging that match could happen at 41, possibly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's why they call it the road to WrestleMania. We haven't gotten to 40 yet, and we're already predicting one match for 41.
I just want 41 to be in Vegas.
I agree with that.
I swear on everything, I'm buying a front row seat.
Roman versus Rock could be pumped for a year. Roman only on TV 4 times a year anyway. Yeah, but he's kind of on TV via the bloodline. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know, when any of those other guys are on TV, you know, his name is not far behind. All right, we only have a couple of minutes left. Let's go to the TNA report. I think some 2 pieces of news.
Like TNA.
Me too.
Total not well. I have a comment to make, but I'll just let it go. John almost trapped me into that one. John almost got me. Matt Cardona, one of Chief's favorite wrestlers.
I really thought you were going to go there.
It was here. You want to see it? You want to see it? Read it on the tip of my tongue. Matt Cardona confirms he has re-signed with GCW, one of Chief's favorite wrestlers. And Hammerstone. There you go. Hammerstone signed with TNA. Are you surprised he signed with TNA? Versus, let's say, versus AEW, because there's no talk he was coming to WWE.
No, he's had like tryouts in the past,
right?
But they've turned him down a couple times.
Okay.
But I can see him like getting on the top of the ladder of like TNA and eventually going to one of those big 2.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations to Hammerstone.
Yeah, definitely.
Comes to Vegas, had come to Vegas a lot, wrestled with FSW quite often.
Yeah, that means he'll be here next month because TNA will be here next month.
There you go. All right. That would be cool.
Actually, in about an hour.
He's trying to bait me again. You want me to announce why you're trying to bait me?
But, hey, it's your show, man.
Well, it's our show.
Are you the master of it?
No, I'm talking about the next.
Oh, the next. Or is he the master of it? So at the top of the hour, 12 o'clock, high noon, my guest today is the writer-director of a film called The Gifted. His name is August Aguilar. He'll be on video with me from Knoxville, Tennessee, home of
Johnny Knoxville.
Kane.
Shut up.
Kane. It's gotta be Kane.
And here's when I talked to him, I brought that up, and he said, "You ready for this?" He knows people that knows Kane, and he's going to see if he can help arrange to get him as a guest on here.
Heck yeah,
that'd be cool. But also the star of that movie called The Gifted. The movie will be actually premiered here in Vegas, March 23rd. The star of the show, the character's name is Barbara, played by Ginger Lynn Allen.
Woo-hoo.
Now, the Allen part may throw a few people, but if I just say Ginger Lynn, you can look her up online in the meantime. She will.
29 seconds.
That's about all I'll need. Anyway, she'll be out with me as well. So that's why he keeps throwing me under the bus. Okay. Final thoughts. Let's get out of here. We got 30 seconds.
Everybody have a good, safe week. Stay out of the wind.
Yeah.
It's freaking crazy out there.
Don't carry any sheets of plywood.
Exactly.
I was kind of confused. I was driving up Rampart and I look up and see like blue sky and it was raining.
Exactly. That's typical crazy bipolar
I was like, I know I'm
weather.
tired, but
The
the
wind
hell?
blowing in from LA.
That's right. All right. With that, thank you all for watching. Enjoy. If you're going to watch Revolution tomorrow, enjoy it. I will not be in studio next week. I will be back east on spring break. So Matt and Chief will hold down the fort and have a great show, as I know that they will. Ratings will probably be high because I won't be on the show. But anyway, so enjoy next week's show. Maybe if I get a chance, we're 9, 10, 11. It's 1 o'clock back east. If I'm waiting for stuff to be delivered, I might just call in.
Since Aaron won't be on, join our special guest. That
Johnny
will be
Knoxville will
not-
be called in. House.
Yeah, we won't say anything until we're on the air tomorrow. Aha.
Have a great
Just
week. Be
kidding.
safe, everybody. Be safe. Be kind to everybody. Why? We're all have. See you next week right here on Thoughts Count Anywhere.
Yeah.